What's up, y'all? This is Good Vibes by Zay. Before we start, if you are looking for the most fascinating, most polarizing, most interesting sports radio show, check out In the Huddle podcast on Can You Dig It Sports Radio app. You can also use the request line 1833 Radio BX. That is 1833 Radio BX.
The most polarizing, fascinating, interesting debate show is live in the huddle.
Ladies and gents, it's been an explosive show, and it's time to go. And before we go, it's time to move on to the NFL here, as the report is that Drew Brees may play football again with the NBC exit looming. Okay, so basically NBC and Drew Brees seem to do his part, and it seems like Drew Brees is having a change of heart. Should the Saints want Drew Brees back? Should they want him back? And you know what, Zay, I actually lob that up to you, and then I'll take over from there.
All right, so I think when we look at what the NFC is this season, I think they've gotten a lot weaker than last year, in my opinion. I think they lost a lot of components, and I believe it'll be a little bit easier for the Saints to sneak in the Snakes, right? The Saints to sneak into the playoffs if Drew Brees was to come back one more season. I think that's a possibility in my eyes. I think if he is at least physically able, after taking a year off, so he rested the body, if he's physically able to get on the field and play football, he should be the quarterback for this team. When you look at Jameis Winston, when he was starting, was playing for the Saints. They were winning games, sure, but he wasn't playing the dominance of a quarterback. It was very run heavy. The throws weren't there. It was a lot of different aspects of the game that just wasn't appearing at least impressive for the Saints offense. I think when you bring in Drew Brees, you bring in a leader, a locker room guy. You got in Jarvis Landry on the team. The Saints signed him. You still got Kamara. You still got. I hope Michael Thomas plays. We don't even know what his status is, but if he comes back to play with Drew Brees, that'll be another interesting factor. And I believe Drew Brees will give it a go one more year. We know Drew Brees didn't have the strongest arm when he was playing on his last season on the Saints. We understand that, but he would still be the best option on the Saints if he says, I'll give it one more year. And I think when you look at what the Saints offer him, they have, like I said, the team is not terrible. It's just the quarterback position is what's in question here. And the defense is still there. The offense is just the shaky part, unfortunately, which leaves the defense out there for way longer than what they need to be. So I think, in my opinion, if Drew Brees is physically able to go, the Saints should look at him and bring him back one more season.
It's funny because before the show, I literally had my answer, and it wasn't even close. Like, it was nowhere close. I'm like, listen, I'm going with this guy, and that's it. Mm-hmm. And then you started talking, and I felt even more confident about my guy. And then the last second, something just dawned on me. And I hate when I put myself in a bind like that, because now I start on my take back and forth, and it kind of messes up my rhythm. Ladies and gentlemen, all right, let me try to break this down as best as I can. If I had to say from a Buccaneers perspective, because everybody knows on this show that I'm a Tom Brady guy. If you don't know me, if you don't know Tom Brady, my guy. If you don't know, that's my guy. So who would I rather see the Bucs play? Like, who would I rather see if I'm the Bucs? Drew Brees or Jameis Winston? And honestly, I don't want to see Drew Brees, because Drew Brees is an experienced vet, and he sliced us and diced us, on the biggest stage before on Sunday night. But also, when I go back to that point, so did Taysom Hill on Sunday Night Football. So it's just the Saints defensively, from a defensive standpoint, that really give Tom Brady the trouble. So back to where I was before I had that little second of uncertainty. I'm certain again. I'm going Jameis Winston. Okay. I don't think the Saints should want Drew Brees back. And in fact, I think they should hang up the phone and keep it tapped. That rhymes. I don't know if that makes sense, but it rhymes. Okay? Yeah, I think they should hang up the phone on Drew Brees. No disrespect to the Hall of Famer, one of the greatest quarterbacks to play the game. Look, when I saw Drew Brees, and I want to revert back to the playoffs, right? Because that's what matters the most for me, is the playoffs. We all know Drew Brees. He's a great regular season quarterback. Now, he could come back very well and win an MVP. He's that good in the regular season. But come playoff times, where defenses plays offensive teams differently, entirely different. Everybody know what Drew Brees is going to do. He's going to throw the short ball. He's going to throw the drags and the curls. He can't defeat you from deep. He's not a threat deep. So now it's easier, right? All you got to do is drop back in coverage, keep everything in front. It's easier to play Drew Brees. I remember 2 playoff games in particular. The wild card, as my memory is just on today. I'm glad I had my memory on today. Some days I'll be shot, but today is not. One of those days I'm shot. I'm actually good. So it was a wild card, Minnesota versus the Saints. And the Saints didn't do nothing that entire game offensively. Nothing. It was a low-scoring game. It was like 10-13. I do believe Kirk Cousins made a good throw to Thielen, and they won the game in overtime or before they got to overtime, right? Mm-hmm. And the one big explosive play that was the longest play of the game was when they substituted Drew Brees out for Taysom Hill, and Taysom Hill threw a bomb on a play that was supposed to be a wildcat play. That was the longest play of the game. That was it. Another game against the Buccaneers, I believe it was, where Drew Brees was struggling, kind of, sort of, and they brought in Jameis Winston, and they ran a play for him to throw the ball deep. The first play, Jameis Winston throws a touchdown in the playoffs. So basically what I'm implying to you is that Drew Brees at this point in his career is shot. He's not the same. He doesn't have the strongest arm. Now you're talking about another year added to that. Nah, I'm sticking with Winston. I do believe Winston is still a good quarterback in this league. You don't throw 5,000 yards by accident. I think last year what you saw, Zay, it's not him not wanting to be explosive. It was him being in training camp the whole year. Sean Payton trying to break him down so we don't see those turnovers. And so I think he did a good job of that. That was the biggest thing for me. Are you going to turn the ball over or not? Forget the 5,000. If you throwing 30 interceptions, then that's worse. That upsets the 5,000. Clear. The fact that I didn't see that was a good sign because I know he can rip that football. So going into this season, when you talk about the Saints and what they got offensively and Chris Olave, who they drafted, who I think is a good wide receiver from Ohio State that is going to be a very youthful wide receiver for this group. When you talk about having Michael Thomas, depending if he comes to the football field, I mean, the guy's literally been the Ben Simmons of the NFL. Want to do everything but play football. Have surgery mad late. He's the Ben Simmons of the NFL, Michael Thomas here. So I'm depending on him coming back. And then you make a move for Jarvis Landry, who I think will fit perfectly with what they like to do because they're a short route team anyway. Yeah, I think they have a good team. Tyrann Mathieu, who they got defensively. Listen, I'm not going to lie. I'm scared. As a Buccaneers fan, I'm scared of this presently constructed Saints team. I'm not even going to lie to you. Like, I'm scared. Like, I know we got a tough schedule all throughout, but I'm not even concerned about that. I'm concerned about the Saints. And if Jameis Winston is the quarterback at the helm, I'll be even more concerned. If Drew Brees come back, then I'm like, yeah, I'm less concerned. That's my take. I don't think they should go after Drew Brees. They should stick with what they have right now.
That's a fair take because, like I said, I just stated, Jameis Winston does deserve a year to prove himself. Not prove himself, but at least show that he's a starter in the league. I think he has the components to be a starter in this football league, if not for the Saints, for another NFL team. I think he deserves to be that. And I think he's shown more than a lot of starting other QBs in the NFL. So I think he should have the opportunity to do so. I just thought, like, since the NFC is weaker, that adding in Drew Brees to your roster doesn't hinder your team at all. It actually might improve his chances to be in the playoffs. Like you said, Drew Brees is a seasoned vet. He's seen all the defenses in the league. He knows what it means to command a locker room, to be the captain of the locker room, to talk to the troops and be there. Guys look up to him in a sense where they have their trust. They trust him to make the right plays and to be that guy in the locker room. So that's why I was thinking maybe Drew Brees could be that addition. But if Jameis Winston already has that, then, like you stated, there's no need for that Drew Brees guy to come in.
It's a few things I want to say before we close out here and get up out of here. Yeah. Jameis Winston is a leader, and so is Drew Brees. So I don't think it's a drop-off in leadership because Jameis Winston, by virtue of his personality, what we see in the locker room, how he talks, he's a leader. So I think they don't lose a step as far as leadership. But to play devil's advocate to my own take, I would say, does the rest that year off help Drew Brees?
Okay.
Does it help him physically? Because this is a guy that had his fair shares of injuries Remember that last year where they lost, he had broken ribs.
Mm-hmm.
And he missed about a couple weeks with the broken ribs. I believe a year before that, if I'm not mistaken, he had a finger injury where he missed a couple games. So this is a guy that had his fair shares of injuries before he retired. Does a year off help him or hurt him? Does that year of rest help Drew Brees? And in that instance, would you take a flyer on him? I would stick with Jameis Winston, and that's just me. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to get up out of here. It was a loaded show. It was a great show, and I'm ready to go. Y'all know the flow. Like and subscribe, feel the vibe, and guess what? I'll see you on the other side.
The Can You Dig It Sports Radio Network is here. Revolutionize the game of media. Dig.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know y'all not getting tired of watching In the Huddle over and over again, so like and subscribe to the channel and receive these new notifications of new uploaded content that will be coming your way. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your day. I'm out. Peace.